Most experts stay broke, not because they're bad, not because they're not passionate or good at what they do, but because they're stuck slap dam in the middle of two completely different businesses and they don't even know it. Welcome back. Hello. Thanks for being here. If you haven't already, make sure you hit subscribe and get the notifications for when a new episode is released. Lovely to be here with you. So here's the thing. Most people who are experts I'm speaking to are like, why is it not working? I'm trying all these things. And it came to me that this is the reason. And it's kind of frustratingly simple. It's simply this. I'm going to show you how to actually do this in a second, because this sounds overly simple. But basically, if you don't choose between having a marketing-led business or a sales-led business, then you are going to stay stuck, you are going to stay put, and it's literally that simple. It really, really is. Now, before we get into how to see the difference between those two things, when to pick the difference, and figure out which one you should be, I'd love to give you my framework that I've used now to generate more than 8,000 paying clients for our business and multiple millions of dollars in the process of doing that. And you can just copy and use it too. It's the same email framework I've used for my business, multiple businesses of my own, and for more than 8,000 clients now. And I call it the Fast and Forever email framework. It allows you a simple methodology to continue sending emails that get people engaged now and make sales now, and continue making sales in the future. You can download it along with a little free training if you go to emailmarketingheroes.com/fast. So into this stuff now, as I said, there's two different types of businesses. There's marketing-led businesses and there are sales-led businesses. The first person I ever heard talk about this was it sounds like a really strange thing, but I was in this mastermind, which was held in a mansion, and it was run by a guy called Todd Brown, who, like, if you don't know Todd Brown, he's like the OG GOAT of direct response. He's the marketing director behind top marketing campaigns in the world. It was very early in the morning. I was staying in this mastermind, and Todd and I were literally standing in this ridiculously huge mansion kitchen, right? And there's just the two of us, and we're both sat kind of like, oh, this is crazy. And we're literally, he's having a coffee and I'm having a cup of tea, and because British American, right? And he said, I think it's interesting in looking at our businesses, we have to pick whether we have a marketing-led business or a sales-led business. And he was the first person I ever heard say that in his deep, gravelly, excited voice and passionate voice. So what does that really mean? It's one of those things that I've always really taken to heart, but like everything in life, I've also strayed from the path, and I found myself also in that tug of war, wondering what's going on. Why am I not progressing? Why are things much more difficult than they used to be? And what happens is, if you are a marketing-led business, which is what I've always been, and you end up hanging around with a lot of people who are in sales-led businesses, you start adapting and adopting a lot of what the people around you are doing. So I started to do some sales-led business activity. And I was like, why is this not really working very well? It's because, well, my entire rest of my business, the foundation of my business, my knowledge, my experience, my confidence are all from a marketing-led business. And these things were counter to each other. So that's kind of where this all came from. So what do I mean by these two things? Marketing-led businesses are the kind of businesses that rely on content. They rely on attraction, bringing people in, on your brand, warming people up, that kind of stuff. And generally, they've got a slower ramp up. Not always. There are things you can do to make some sales very initially, like initial offers and stuff like that. But they really rely on long-term trust. And generally, you are going to go for a very long-term relationship with these people who you're bringing in and get a really high lifetime customer value. Okay, LTV, a lifetime value. So people you might have heard of who are doing this very successfully: Pat Flynn, Ali Abdaal, who I spoke on stage with a few years ago, about a year ago now, actually. Marie Forleo, my friend Natalie Ellis, who runs Boss Babe, me. We've all built these very much marketing-led businesses, okay? And if you're going to go into the marketing-led business, you're going to be doing things like podcasting, YouTube videos, SEO, newsletters, videos, SEO, blogs, running ads to lead magnets, that kind of thing. So that's what a marketing-led business kind of looks like. I'll give you some more details on how you go and implement that and what that would look like in practical sense of what you need to be doing and what you need to be aware of before you say, that's what I'm going to be. That's what I'm going to do. Because at the end of this video, I'm going to ask you to make a decision on which one you are going to be, because it's going to unlock so much freedom. Seriously. So on the flip side, sales-led businesses, these are the kind of businesses that rely on outreach. They rely on direct offers. So you'll have people running ads straight to like book a call, that kind of thing, book an appointment, that kind of thing. Lots of follow-up, lots of DMs, that kind of stuff. The great thing about those businesses is they are fast cash. They're usually higher ticket as well, okay? The negative side of that is it's lots of manual effort. There's a lot of time involved, especially compared to a marketing-led business, but I'll get into that in a second. The kind of people you'll be familiar with that kind of world are, if you've seen the way that Alex Hormozy, Jeremy Minor, Cole Gordon, John Penberthy, Rudy Moore, those kind of people are more sales-led type businesses. Cold DMs, high-ticket sales calls, that kind of stuff. You need a volume of calls for doing that sort of stuff, okay? So you just got a clear, that's okay, you got now a clear picture of those people. So what do you actually have to do if you're choosing one of those things? Well, if you're going to get into a marketing-led business, you're going to be thinking, okay, your activity needs to be something like 1 to 2 long-form pieces of content per week. And long-form doesn't mean like an hour or two. It just means not short reels and stuff like that. Again, that tends to be more for your sales-led business. But 1 or 2 long-form pieces of content per week. So that might be a podcast like this one, which is usually 5 minutes or longer. We go for anywhere between, I think our shortest video so far is about 7 minutes, up to about 35 to 40 minutes on some of the episodes. That's a long form piece of content, okay? So that's going to be on a YouTube video, on an audio podcast. It could be a written post, either on one of your own platforms or on a third-party platform, something long form like that. And what you're going to do is you're going to build your email list. So if you're a marketing-led business, you are going to be building your email list. You're going to be sending regular emails, okay? You're going to be building that email list with things like free lead magnets or low-ticket offers, so like a small paid lead magnet. And the whole point of this kind of business is to optimize all of your socials for reach and audience building. That's what you need to be doing. So that's why nearly almost 300 episodes now, we've done this free weekly podcast audio, and then recently also flipped to doing it on YouTube as well, because it's all about building audience and also having lots of time that people can spend with you. So one of the best things you can do is have people spend more time with you. And my favorite thing about marketing-led businesses is that you can create automations, email automations, they could be DM automations, those kind of things that sell in a way that is passive to you, that you don't have to be there, be on the phone or be in a call with somebody or be manually in DMs with people one-to-one. It's very not one-to-one. It's very sort of scaled. Okay, so right now, as I'm talking to you, there are emails going out to people as they're joining my email list. As you're registering for that Fast and Forever framework that I mentioned earlier, you could immediately get an email from me, and the automations will talk you through what our different offers are that we could help you out with in terms of making more sales from email marketing. That's very much a marketing-led business. You're not going to get a personal DM from me offering to get on a call with you or whatever to sell you a high-ticket offer, because we're a marketing-led business. We don't do that. We give you more information, will allow you to sort of take a little bit slower. We obviously want to still include urgency elements, like we'll sometimes run a flash sale or we'll give you a reason to act now. That's all still marketing. I'm not saying marketing-led businesses are super slow. No. Hey, some people, when you join their email list, they're a marketing-led business. As soon as you join their email list, they'll run a quick flash sale and say, hey, if you, as a brand new subscriber, you've got this special offer, but only for the next 48 hours. Still a marketing-led business, okay? On the flip side, sales-led businesses, and again, although I don't have a sales-led business, I'm heavily involved in a bunch of sales-led businesses with my clients, and also I'm in masterminds with lots of people who are mostly sales-led businesses, like my friend John Penberthy, Adam Stott. There's a whole bunch of these folks who are very much sales-led businesses. Those businesses, if that's your kind of bag, are going to be the ones where it's all about asking for the sale. And you're going to be doing things like you should be like, if you're in a sales-led business, you should be sending out like 20 cold outreach messages a day. That could be emails, it could be LinkedIn DMs, it could be be DMs on Facebook or Instagram. That's the kind of thing you'd see. You'll see that in the kind of things like Taki Moore's great at this. You join a Facebook community of Takis. He's brilliant at having the team get in touch and be like, hey, how can we help you? My friend Molly Mahoney is exactly the same. Again, so it's very much a sales-led business. You're going to be looking at booking sales calls usually. So you'll be wanting to book in 10 to 15 sales calls every single week from those outreach messages. And that's when you get on the call, Zoom, whatever, on a phone call, whatever you fancy, and actually have that direct, it's a sales opportunity. It's literally you showing up and making the sales pitch. And again, this is the kind of business where you're gonna see these where you run ads straight to the sales video, straight to a VSL, which tells you all about the thing, or to a call booking page. Hey, book a strategy call with us, book a discovery call. And then the whole aim of that game is to have really good closing, really good ability to close sales in that sort of live, real-time environment, whether it's in DMs or it's on a call, and then get as many closes as you can then, and then do not miss out on the opportunity for the long-term follow-up with those people. But this is the reason I personally chose, for my personality type, the way that I've always liked to do things and what's comfortable for my lifestyle that I want to lead, the reason I've chosen marketing-led business is, one, I really like marketing. I'm not a huge fan of sales and selling, right? Also, in sale, if you've got salespeople, to begin with, a sales-led business is going to be you. Every single person who shows you how to build a sales-led business will tell you, anyone who's done it successfully will tell you, the first salesperson in that business has to be you. You have to get really good at selling your thing before you pass it on. And then you have to do that, and it's literally a game of reps and tweaking and refining and reps and reps and reps. And then you have to pass it on to a salesperson. And what you have to be really aware of, and this is totally fine, I know people who are doing this extremely successfully, they're just happy that this is one of the factors, is there is a burnout to salespeople. Most salespeople, there are definitely outliers who do this for years, but most salespeople will last between 6 and 18 months, and then they move on, because it is about really treading that over and over again on that hamster wheel. So how do you actually pick which one you want to do? I'm definitely not here to say, hey, the marketing way is the way, right? That's not what this is about. This is about when you are picking your conversion mechanism, the thing that the way you take cash off people is all going to change. Your emails are all going to change. Every single thing in your business will change to align to the type of business. The only thing I want you to do today is not pick marketing led, is not pick sales led. What I want you to do is pick. I don't mind which one. People are having incredible success with both models. So how do you pick? Because at the end of this, I literally just want you to pick. Well, the first thing I want you to do is think about the lifestyle that you want to have. What do you want your average week to kind of look like? Do you want it to be one where you've got a sales team, you've maybe got 1 or 2 or 3 or maybe more salespeople who are doing these calls for you, and you're able to be anywhere you want as long as you can get to a laptop and manage those people? And you can look at simple spreadsheets and be able to see how they're doing and how things are converting. That's one thing. Secondly, what kind of business do you want? Do you want a business that is all about getting quick sales, getting clients in, serving those clients, moving on to the next client? Is that kind of how you want it to be? Or the other way of looking at this is, what kind of offers do you want? Right? What we have to do is you have to reverse engineer all of this from the lifestyle of the business and the type of offer that you want and what you want to get better at. I'm not a fan of finding something you're not very good at and going, right, I'm going to get good at that thing in general in business. If you've got any kind of experience, if you've been doing this for 18 months or more, I would say you've probably found something that is already showing promise, showing the beginnings of something that's working. I want you to take the thing that's already starting to work, that seedling. It might not just be a seedling, it might be bigger than a seedling, and I want you to make it grow. I don't want you to start digging dirt again, over and over again. Most people fail in their business because they keep digging dirt over and over again. What I want you to do is I want you to find that seedling or find that thing that's already starting to blossom, and I want to make it grow. I want you to do more of what is working rather than starting over and over again. Because every time you start over, you're starting from scratch and you're putting yourself back to that disadvantage. The clock starts all over again. And if it takes 2 years to really get a business going, every time you restart, you're restarting the clock of 2 years, which sucks, right? So how do you do it? Okay, well, if you want to choose a marketing business, it's going to start with brand. right? It's going to start with brand. You need to have a brand. So we've got email marketing heroes, but I've also got my personal brand of Kennedy, the guy who talks pretty quickly, has this crazy hairstyle, who talks very, very no bullshit, very directly and passionately about this stuff. Tends to be a little bit funny, although I don't know, I think I do that much funny on the YouTube, but I am kind of known for being pretty funny. Hard to believe, I know. Okay, and some people think of it slow to start. It is slow to start in terms of getting big numbers. Like if you compared to a sales-led business, where if you had a 20 grand offer, you could like be DMing people this week, probably make a sale this week. You could probably do that. You are not going to make a 20 grand sale this week if you are just starting with a marketing brand. You're just not going to do it. But if you don't like the idea of getting on calls with people and DMing people and being very direct, then a marketing business is for you, right? The other thing that marketing businesses do is they focus on longevity. They focus on, I've got this offer and I'm going to stick with it. It's all about building trust and building more and more trust. So that also means because it's a marketing-led business where I'm not willing to get on a phone call with somebody for most of our offers, it's very occasionally I will, because usually when I'm researching a new offer or something, it's actually serving the marketing purpose as market research. But generally, we're not going to have a super high ticket offer because I'm not willing to get on a call for that level. So basically, if you want to sell without a sales call, you probably need to be looking at a marketing-led business. And what your job becomes in this kind of business is maximizing the profitability of those subscribers, of the leads, of the contacts that you bring in. What's really nice about a marketing-led business is it is scalable without people. So if you've got a sales-led business and you've got one salesperson right now and you're doing 100,000 a year, if you want to double that, well, truthfully, you probably need to know and looking at other people's businesses who are doing this, you need to probably have 3 salespeople in order to double the business. Is generally kind of the rule of thumb from everything I'm seeing and worked on with clients. So if you are comfortable with that, then great. But I don't want that. I like the fact that it doesn't matter how many people are on my email list. I still can send emails and they all get it and they all can go to a sales page with all the information on, maybe a little video, maybe some written information, whatever. And it doesn't matter how many people are on my email list, I can grow the business. The only way to grow it is to have more leads, more people coming in, right? Which means the business relies on email marketing. It relies on videos. It relies on content channels. It relies on payment pages. That is it. Whereas the flip side is a sales-led business. I want to make sure you have a completely informed decision here, is fast cash, but is time heavy. So if I want to make my 20 DMs today, my 20 outreach messages today by email, DMs, whatever, then that's great because I know by the end of this week, I could be making fast cash. But it is a game of churning of leads. Like you're going to get lots of no's, get lots of that kind of thing. And that's just the kind of business that it is. If you are good at selling, if you are just naturally really charismatic and you're very good at selling, and you perhaps want to build a team of other people who sell, then use that skill and have a sales business. If you have high ticket offers like products and services, again, you're probably going to need a sales-led business. And when I say high ticket, the highest I've seen regularly in most niches, and there's always exceptions, that people will buy on a hands-off without a consultation call is $2,000. That's the highest amount I've ever seen. If you've got an offer that's honestly anything above 1,500, I think you probably need to have some kind of sales mechanism. So that's just another thing to think about. One of the things you do need to think about is that a sales-led business is a people business. And if you're all about people and building teams and building businesses, go do that. I'm not. I'm your stereotypical entrepreneur. I'm the person who doesn't want to build a business. I want to have a lifestyle. So I'm happy to not have a sales team because I want to be able to send emails from literally anywhere in the world while I'm waiting for my niece's school play to start, or whether I'm sitting on the balcony of my holiday, or I'm just sitting here at home in my home office. I can send an email from literally anywhere and make sales. Whereas a sales-led business, it requires a different type of energy for building it up as a sales-led business because of the people element, right? Now, what I'm not saying is if you have a marketing-led business, can you never and should you not have any high-ticket items at all, which require some kind of one-to-one selling? I'm not saying that. Great example of this is I've always had a marketing-led business, but we used to sell, and we may again open up a program called our Accelerator program, which was a much higher ticket item, much more intensive, much more proximity and hand-holding by me personally for those small number of clients. But how did I sell them? Well, first of all, it was only ever offered to people who are already customers of our membership and other lower ticket offers who'd come in through the marketing. They'd spend time with me over a great deal of time, 6 to 12 months already. So they had trust, they could see what it was, and it was a case of some simple DMs. It was a case of putting up a post and saying, hey, I've got this thing. It's much more high touch. If it solves the problem that you've got, drop me a DM. We have a conversation back and forth in DMs. I actually sent them a little Google Doc with the outline of the program. They'd say yes or no, and I'd send them the bank details. So again, it was a one-to-one selling, but it wasn't like a pressure thing. It was all based in marketing. But that selling high ticket through marketing takes a lot longer, and they have to spend a lot more time with you. So what I want you to do today is I want you to pick your lane. Because as soon as you do, I promise you, everything becomes simpler. If you're going to be a marketing-led business, you start putting together offers, products and services, and price points, and conversion mechanisms, and emails, all of which serve the marketing business type model. If you are going to be a sales-led business, you are not going to do any of those things. You're going to put offers, products, and services and conversion mechanisms together, which serve a sales-led business. So what I want you to do is wherever you are right now, just write a little note in your phone or wherever on what kind of business you are going to be. Are you committing, drawing the line in the sand to being a marketing-led business or a sales-led business? Make that decision. Write it down. And if you want to see exactly, most people give up on their follow-up emails before people are ready to buy, before the majority of people are ready to buy. The reason that is due to 4 psychological things in our own brains. I made a whole video about it, which is just here. I definitely recommend, whether you are marketing-led or sales-led, you go watch that because you'll make way more money from the subscribers that you're already bringing in. That's it for this video. I'll see you next week, next Email Marketing Wednesday.